What I want to do is just tell you quickly the brief and very superficial history of how Dammand has wound up where we are right now in our process. And then I want to just point out a couple of things about why we would fight corporate influence in the country and the idea of fixing democracy, and I'll do those fast. Dammand came together in the wake of really the Occupy movement and the Get Money Out of Politics group that was spawned by that, and that evolved into the Washington move to amend the U.S. Constitution. For the most of the time, we've had about 26 groups that have been represented in it. And I'm not going to reel them off because I can't, but getting a nice document like the initiative we have written by a committee of 26 from disparate groups with disparate concerns makes herding cats look like a cakewalk. And I am shocked, should I say, shocked that it came out as well as it did. It came out very good. I even recommend to people that they read the fine print on the back side. How often do you hear that in an initiative? So I'm going to tell you why we're doing an initiative. There have been 3 attempts here in Washington State to get our state legislature to do a memorial resolution to the Congress asking for an amendment to overturn Citizens United. And in all 3 cases, it's been stopped. In one of those cases, the issue of corporate personhood was mentioned. The last one that was done in 2013, we specifically left that issue out on the advice of our politicians that were involved in it because they felt that was a killer in our state legislature. But the compromise we made in the coalition was because some of the groups, like Move On and Move to Amend, were very preoccupied with corporate personhood. The compromise was, we'll try it without it in the legislature, but if it doesn't fly in the legislature, we're going to feature it when we go to an initiative, and that's really what we're doing. And so we have done that. I did want to point out that as far as Wolfpack's efforts are concerned, an initiative to the people in Washington State under our Constitution carries the same weight as an act of the legislature, so that if we get this through, this will support an effort to prompt Congress, and also it will support Wolfpack's effort to call for a constitutional convention, because it is an act of the state legislature. Why not corporations? What the heck is wrong with corporations? Why wouldn't we want them running our country? Well, they do some bad things. We all know that they're mandated to pursue profit. What I want to point out about it is partly as a result of the Powell memo that Mark mentioned, and the think tanks and the publicity that's been generated in part of that plan, we have undergone some real cultural changes. Most of us, I'm not commenting on ladies' ages here, but most of us guys are old enough to remember a time when somebody that said greed is good would have been really frowned upon. You know, really, I mean, like, are you kidding me? Greed is good? Now that has become an unspoken, assumed aspect of our culture. People are not even embarrassed to say that. Greed is good. The richer you can get, the better it is. And if people get really, really rich, that means America is doing okay. That thought process has become so pervasive that now we evaluate our government on the GNP, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the unemployment figures, and nothing, this is the important part, nothing that can't be turned into dollars counts in our political process. Nobody can put a value on justice, freedom, opportunity, fairness, those sorts of things. So they don't even count. They're not part of the race. And I just wanted to draw that to your attention. We can't let that quietly happen to us and not realize it, because if you don't, especially if you don't realize it, it becomes very powerful. It becomes a quarter you can't go into. The second thing I wanted to talk about quickly is the notion of fixing democracy. Mark pointed out the long history of problems and the long battles to get problems solved, and we have solved some problems historically, but also we've backslid. and voter rights are being hampered now, and we're being more put upon by corporate overbearing than we've ever been in the past. What's the deal? Should we get discouraged about that? And my answer to that is, don't look for a fix in the sense that we can do something, we can write an amendment, and then we can walk off and leave this. Because democracy is, if it's working right, our system is a balance of forces. And we'll have economic forces that are going to pull in the direction that's been overbearing recently. Democracy's job is to offset those things. And it's not a set it and forget it thing. It's a continual effort to keep those things in balance. Recently, it's gone way out of balance in the direction of the economy, and that's what we're trying to turn around. But getting an amendment will just be a part of that. And so, you know, don't think we're going to just fix it, but on the other hand, don't get discouraged by the fact that it's back and forth, because that is the nature of it. It's like swimming and breathing and everything else. If you want it to keep going, we have to keep paying attention. That's the nature of democracy. All right, I'm going to let Jay have his thing. Thanks.